Hey, what's up? It's been a while since I've made a video. Today I want to make a slightly different video, and I actually want to talk about what it's like inside Britain's prisons. So Her Majesty's prisons, which has probably changed. So it used to be HMP. Oh, that would be then His Majesty's prisons now. Now they've got a king. But yeah, I'm going to grab a seat, get the camera set up in just whatever position, wherever I want it. And yeah, we're going to have a little talk. Hey, so yeah, welcome to this video. We're going to be talking about what it's like inside, I'm going to say Her Majesty's prisons. I'm too used to saying it. I wanted to say His Majesty, but whatever. Yeah, we're going to start talking about prisons. The last prison that I was in was called HMP Blunderston in Lowestoft, Suffolk. So this is in England, and that was my last sentence. That was 3 years and 9 months for robbery. Obviously, I've changed a lot since then. I used to be like 20 plus years ago. I wasn't really the best person. I wasn't a nice person to be around. I was young, I was full of testosterone, and yeah, had a few issues with police. In fact, we might cover why I ended up being bad. In fact, we will. But then once I'd had some headache with the police, I then got really angry, and just started committing crime. Like, I lost my job, everything went bad. So yeah, I'm gonna go and grab a drink actually, and then we'll start with the early stories. I'll give you 2 stories as to what sort of, just 2 incidents that led up to me being bad for a period of time, and then we can move on to the prison stuff. Right, where do I start? I was a child, I was a normal child, I was a nerd. You know, I've always been into like technology and stuff. So where you'd connect your phone to the wall socket in your house, I used to know what every cable connected to. I just used to be really crazy with all that stuff, and I'm still quite similar with like my love for gadgets and the work I do with engine tuning and stuff. But yeah, I was a nerd, I was simple, I wasn't causing much trouble. Age 11 I first heard the piano, but I couldn't afford one. Fell in love with it, so that was my interest. That's all I wanted to go to school for. Go there, play piano. I didn't really care about the other lessons. I wasn't that good at school anyway. But on the way to and from school, we'd get stopped and bullied by police. Like, this is Crystal Palace, this is South London. So from Gypsy Hill, Crystal Palace, then walking towards like South Norwood, like heading towards Harris, which is the school I went to, Harris CTC. And we get harassed, we get stopped. Here's a truthful story. I've been grabbed, lifted up and pinned against the wall, and the officer's lifted his badge, and I've seen that NF badge. This is what we were dealing with. So in Crystal Palace back then, this is the 90s, there's NF just graffitied on the walls everywhere, combat 18. So things were, the odds were kind of against me when I was young, but I still went out as a good person. Now one day, now we're gonna get to the meat and bones. One day, I knocked on my front door quite late at night. Must have been about maybe 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. No answer at the door, but I heard a car drive past behind me. This is at Gypsy Hill, South London. And then I've heard the car reverse. And then I've heard someone say, "What are you pretending you live in there for?" And I'm like, what? I've turned around, I'm like, what? I'm going, "What are you pretending you live in there for?" I'm going, "Bro, this is where I live. Number 14, like I know where I live." And then this time, the copper in the passenger seat has got out, but I didn't really notice. And he's walking towards me, he's come around the back of the car, and he's like, "Get your hands out your pockets." And I've looked down because my hands aren't in my pockets. That's me over the wall and on the floor. So now there's a knee in my back. You know, I'm young, I'm like, what, 13, 14, something like that. About a minute or so later, my mother opened the front door, and she's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And the coppers, the one who was on me got off. They both got in their car and they wheel spun up the road because it's like a hill, Georgetown Close in Gypsy Hill. So they went up the hill and sped off and left. That was one incident. I'm going to give you one more incident. This is the one that changed how I was completely as a person. Wandsworth Road. So I'm walking along Wandsworth Road with a friend called Lee. Now on the opposite side of the road was like a cafe or something, and there was a fight in there. And there's police there and stuff as well. And they're like, "Get away from here, fuck off, do it." And I'm like, what? Like, I pay tax, what are you talking about? Like, I'm on my way home. So that's exactly how I said it, because I was young, and of course I'm going to reply like that. I'm like, well, I can walk on the road. I've walked past this cafe and I'm continuing to walk in a straight line toward like Union Road to get back to Stockwell or wherever. And as we're walking home, whack on the back of my legs. I got beaten so bad. That was the last straw for me. So the fight had nothing to do with me. The situation had nothing to do with me. I got beaten the shit out of. I woke up in Belgravia police station in London, which is next to Victoria train station. Completely messed up, eyes hard to see out my eye. Pressed the buzzer, and I've gone, what the hell are you lot doing? I said, I work at 2020 optical store on Tottenham Court Road. I'm a glazer, I have a full-time job. And Lee, some tall guy, my white friend from Stockwell, he works at Sainsbury's in Vauxhall. I said, you gotta let us go. They just let us go. No paperwork, nothing. This is what fucks your head up in London, because they'll do stuff to you and there'll be nothing of it. I've gone to work that day. I've walked into work and I've been pulled to the side. I'm walking funny, my arm's all messed up, black eye, blah blah blah. I got sacked because they said you were fighting, and that was when I lost the plot. So that's when I started selling drugs, that's when I started being a bad person, that's when I started being a bully. I became like those who bullied me, I then took on their mentality and took that all around London, being a dickhead. I'm not proud of none of the stuff I did. I shouldn't have done any of the stuff that I did, and I'm saying this so other people can hear and learn from it, but that was the turning point. And I was around 20-ish years old, 20, 21 years old, 22 is when I got really bad for about 2 years. So after that, that's when I started to go down the slippery slope, and then I ended up in jail. I'm gonna take a quick break, just wanna have a bit of my drink, and then we'll continue with the actual prison story. Right, so the conviction was for robbery, and it was called, they changed it to aggravated burglary because the person was in the house when I committed the crime. He was a drug dealer. So I remember I got out of jail and I went to him, I think in like August or something, or September of that year, and he sold me drugs. Like I bought an eighth of weed. So in my mind, this will sound weird to people that aren't criminals, but in my head, you're active. He's at work, he's busy. So I've gone back, as soon as I was off tag, as soon as I was off of license or whatever, I went there with my cousin and someone else, which is stupid because that was more headache. In fact, I'm going to tell you that story. Knocked on the door, gone in the house. Obviously I remember who he was, so I remembered one of the dogs' names, and I was like, get in the bathroom. And it went, because it's a staff, they listened, so shut the door and started barking, don't care. The second dog, I don't know what them lot did with it, but I've gone in the house, gone in the front room, just sat next to him, I just put it on the side, and I'm like, you know what's going on. And of course, he's like, oh shit, the food's in the cupboard, Food is the word we'd use for drugs. And he's like, oh, the food's in the cupboard, like. So he don't want to get beat up, he just wants, he's telling us where the drugs are. Unfortunately for me, my cousin's walked in and he's like, what? Shoot him. This is where things are difficult. This is why the criminal world is headache. Because I've now looked at my cousin like, what? Which has later caused headache between me and all those lot. But like, what? He's just said where the drugs are, you lot want to be dickheads. Anyway, had we only taken drugs and money, we would have been fine. Because these lot were dickheads. They started taking goods, they've taken speakers, they've taken da-da-da-da. Now, people who are clued up to this know that they can call the police once you start taking goods. That's why he called the police. I was then living in Nottingham at the time, got arrested by police in Nottingham. They got, look, the Essex police want you. And I didn't go to the police station, they just took me straight to jail. So I stayed in Nottingham prison for a weekend, and then they took me down to Essex, and I just confessed, like, yeah, that's what I did, I robbed him. But he's a drug dealer, like, what? So I thought that would have maybe levied it or made it less whatever, but they're like, no, we're throwing everything at you. I was told I was looking at 6 years, so I was lucky to be told I'll be doing 3-9. Once you're sentenced, they send you out, so you go, we say they just ship you out to Cunch. So that's what drug dealers say, they say, I'm going Cunch, man's going Cunch. That's what we'd say for country. This is the countryside, Norwich, Lowestoft, all these out places that aren't in London. Isle of Wight, that's in the fields, that's the country, that's somewhere else. Government, because they're stupid, like when they try to jump on what we say, they call it county lines. They can't hear what we're saying. So there's certain words that are used by my community that then they just get taken. Like woke. We would say woke from the 60s, 70s, and woke meant to be awake, to be conscious, to be, spiritually enlightened. Recently that's been sabotaged, as usual, so we're like, do you know what, have it if you want that word to take it. But yeah, where was I with the prison story? Got nicked, went to court, sentencing starts, and they're like, look, you're getting 3 years, 9 months. I'm like, okay, cool. Out of that time, I did just over 2.5 years, so you don't do the full sentence. Had it been a 4-year sentence, I would have had to have waited for parole, so I would have been in longer. But 3-9, fine. But that was enough time to put me off of doing whatever the hell I was doing. Like, that's more than enough time for me to say, hell no, like I'm not going back there. I'm gonna pause the video again, I'll be back in a second. Like arrival in prison, you turn up in the sweatbox and they put you in something called an induction wing. Before that, you go to like an introductory place where there's just like a few people where you just sort of get used to it. And then from the induction, this is like the induction wing, from there, then they take you into the full population. London has got, it's closed now, but it's got 2 big wings with 4-man dorms, so there's 4 people in each cell. And then the other wings, A, B, C and D, if I'm right. I can't remember, I don't care. Yeah, it is, it's A, B, C and D. Are single cells, so I share the 4-man dorm. There's something really weird that they do. They put you in by race. Do you know how much fights this causes? They put me in a cell with like 2 Jamaicans, 1 African guy. Then you walk past another cell, just Russians. Then you walk past another cell, just English people. In the end, because I'm obviously social and I'm talking to people, in the end, my cell was me, a Mexican guy, an English guy from somewhere in London, I think from North London, and another guy from somewhere else completely different. And the officers from locally, from this area, came in and like, oh, we've never seen this before. Oh, like this, wow, you're all together. They're so dumb. They're doing the same thing what Manchester government did when they put all the Arabs on one estate, all the Jewish people on one estate, all the black people on one estate. And now what have you done? Look at the situation. Look at the crime situations. Look at the problems that's caused. So that's something that governments should look into, but they're stupid. They're still segregating people just because they're dumb. What you think because someone's got the same DNA that they're gonna get on. You see how dumb they are. You think because someone looks similar in skin color that they're automatically gonna get on and be best friends. That's not how life works. Like I've shown people on Instagram recently. I'm now looking at Instagram on my computer and I can go down this list of people. I've got Germany, where Dennis is, this guy, Leon's in Norfolk, Brandon's in Norfolk, Bas is in the Netherlands, Jonathan is in Atlanta, Tal is in Israel, and I could just keep going down. Rinso Man's in Birmingham, there's another guy in Israel, Deadly, Birmingham, Hungary, China, Poland. Basically, I talk to people from everywhere. That's just how I am. When people say that, there's an issue with Russia, I'll start talking to Russians. Now I watch Russian movies. Now I listen to Russian trap artists, Russian hip hop artists. I take an interest. When people were slagging off China, I took an interest in China. So now I've got loads of friends in China on Instagram, by email, couple businesses, whatnot. That's just how I am. So yeah, it's weird that they group people based on the colour of their skin. I think that's stupid and they shouldn't do that. Fast forward. After a few weeks, I'd had enough. I said, look, I need my own cell. I think it was like maybe a month or something, but I couldn't cope. I couldn't handle living. I can't live with other people. So yeah, I got a single cell, moved into that, stayed there for the entire sentence. Daily life. I saw that everybody gets jobs and you work full time. So most people work full time. You get up in the morning, you go downstairs for breakfast, you go and get your food, whatnot, and then you go to work at like 8:30, 9, whatever in the morning. At lunchtime, you all come back, have your lunch, and then usually you go into your cell and you have like an hour's chill time so the officers can go and have their lunch. Once that's done, they let you out in the yard, so you can have a walk around or jogging or exercise. Then you go back to work for your afternoon shift. Come back in the evening, you pay for your television. TVs aren't free in jail, you have to pay your TV license and pay for renting it. And then you're just indoors in the evening, chilling in your cell, and they're assuming you'll just sit there and watch TV. So what they're doing, the job of this, what they're doing is go to work, come back, watch TV. Go to work, come back, watch TV. But people like us don't do that. We're not like normal people. That's why we're in fucking prison. They're trying to condition you to be one of them. Bruh, I'm not a zombie. There's no television in this apartment, by the way. I don't even have a TV. I read books, I listen to podcasts, I study, I learn, I'm creative, I'll make music, I'll play the piano. I'm doing a million things. So this is how my cell ended up. I was given permission to get a 61 key keyboard, so I bought a Yamaha from Argos, and I'm actually grateful to the prison for that, because that's what started me off and all this stuff. It got me back into what I was doing when I was young. Now, I started going back through my childhood, going back and back in time to figure out what had pissed me off to make me end up in that position. And so I bought myself a Mega Drive with Sonic and All the Beast and all that stuff. I had the keyboard to, just to go back in time. Old music from my past I was listening to, so music from the 80s, music from the 90s. What else? I had a Game Boy Advance with like Street Fighter on it, just going back in time. My friend Wayne from Brixton, he lent me his PlayStation 1, but my cell was lit. I had everything in there. Tobacco, you use tobacco as currency to buy stuff. So like officers would come in the cell like, oh, what you got these packets of baccy for? You don't smoke. I said, bro, I got to pay for my haircut. You don't want to go to a prison barber. If they train a prisoner to cut hair, he's not going to be able to cut afro hair. It is what it is. It never works. You need a road barber. I better turn it off in case it goes off again. But yeah, you need a road barber. You need someone who's worked in a normal barber shop on the streets, like Cold Harbour Lane, Brixton. You come out of Highbury and Islington, head towards Dalston, there's a sick barber shop there. Like, you'll find spots where you can get a good trim. Not in Alfreton Road, like, you know where to go once you've been in these places. But yeah, so Backy, my cell, let's go back to my cell. Everything in there. I did have the TV, but I hardly used it. So there's TV, PlayStation, Mega Drive. This sounds like it's a bit of a piss take. All these games, loads of books. I made it as cozy as I could for me. I'd go out and do a lot of walking on the yard. I'd do a lot of jogging on the yard. But let's talk about my job. I worked in the library, so I worked part-time. This was really, really nice for me. So in the mornings, I'd have my breakfast, come back to my cell, and just chill. And then later on, when the officers got used to me, they'd just leave my door open. So I was able to access the wing. And then I ended up helping the Jamaicans, because the Jamaican guys would clean the showers and toilet areas. So that would be his job, but I'd help him just, support. And it turned out that him and a few of these other Jamaicans who are like old, they're older than me, they knew all the people I knew from South London, which made it easier for me. In fact, that kind of helped me in a few prisons. So I've been to HP Blunderston, I've been in Norwich. I was in Norwich in like year 2000. Before I'd ever been to this area, I'd been in Norwich prison and then back to London, because they move you around and stuff. I've been in Wormwood Scrubs, which is a hard nick. I remember they were like, oh, that's Reggie Cray's old cell. I'm like, I don't care. Like, people take it, they mean that stuff means something. I'm like, bruh, yeah, and he got nicked and I got nicked. Like, if you're in jail, it means you weren't that good at committing crime. But this is where some criminals get it wrong. I might get slated for that, but I don't care. I got caught because I was shit at it. If I was good at it, I wouldn't have got caught, would I? So yeah, Wormwood Scrubs. Wormwood Scrubs is a sick jail. They've got a beautiful church in there for some reason. I don't know why. They've got the most beautiful looking building. Google it. Go on Google. If I can find it, I'll put it in as a little insert thing, overlay. In the building they've built inside that thing. But it's money that they're just wasting, isn't it? But anyway, Pentonville is a hard prison. It's not a nice jail. But I've done Pentonville D-Wing. D-Wing's the worst wing. I've been there loads of times. When I was being a dickhead. What else? We've covered that. Let's go to work. My job was part-time in the library, so I'd just be chilling, and then around lunchtime, Nikki, who we're going to get to, would turn up. So she came outside, she came from a library from the real world, but she'd come into the prison, and I would work for her. She wasn't the nicest boss, but she worked very quickly, and it made sense after a while. So she'd be like, stack these books at warp speed, and then she made me learn all the numbers. So every library uses something called a Dewey system. I can now walk into a library and I know where I'm going. So I did get something from her. Like I went into Lowestoft Library the other week, and I'm asking them questions. I'm like, where's the 700? Like, where's the 700s gone? Just because they've moved stuff around since whenever I was in there 10 or 12 years ago. What else? So yeah, part-time work. She paid me £9 a week. You don't earn a lot of money in jail. And then I'd get a top up from my own bank account. So you can have your own account in prison where people send you in money, but I'd transfer my own money in, and I'd get £20 a week because I was on enhanced status for good behaviour and that. I had a few bad arguments, some with lifers as well, and they murder people. So I had the officers, like 4 officers in my cell, like, you can't talk to them like that. You can't. But with me, I'm ignorant and hard-headed when I feel I need to be. I'm very ignorant and hard-headed when I feel I need to be. But no fights, no issues, no fights at all. So yeah, the library. Do I want to go too far on the library? No, I'm going to leave her. The woman who works in the library is not the best person, but I might cover that later, or I might cover that in another video. What else have I got on here? The gym was cool. So I joined the gym in there, and I'd go there once a week to strength train. And then I'd started going once a week to do step aerobics. Now you got some really cool girls from outside, obviously, who come in, and then they would run the gym and take the step aerobics course and all that. And this is like prisoners, this is like criminals, gangsters and shit. But everyone did step aerobics. Step was sick. I did it so many times that I ended up learning the routine. And then in the end, the officers would leave us and I'd lead the class, which was kind of sick. So I led the step aerobics class. So it's just a step board, up, down, blah, blah. We do push-ups off it, we do different jumps, star jumps, whatever. And this was my time to shine, because you've got all these aggressive, hard, big, huge criminals. So I'd go to the end of the step board and I'd go up, down. I'd just stand up like that. That's it, on one side. But I'd do it like 100 times, then skip over to the other side 100 times. That's how I broke them, because I've now shown these guys who are hard and strong and powerful that, mate, I can piss you lot off. Are you stronger than me? Can you out sprint me? I'm a nerd, but let's see who can be the best. And it's a healthy competitiveness in there, like with weights, or who could do more push-ups, or who could sprint the fastest. Or it's kind of like we're teenagers again. It is kind of cool from that aspect. It's like healthy competition, which we need out here. Out here in the real world, it's just jealousy. People jealous of each other. People angry. People abusive. People are weird. Whatever. So yeah, job, worked part-time. I kept it as chill as possible. When I wasn't at work, I'd be reading. So I was reading books from my past as well. I was reading books from my childhood, books from my teenage years, books from later in life. So I did a lot of Michael Crichton, because I used to love reading his books when I was like 15, 16. Had a fight with some guy in Stockwell, and then we ended up being friends, and he just kept giving me loads of books to read. And I really got into Michael Crichton. Really got into Michael Crichton. What else? Michael Crichton is so intelligent. Let's cover him. He'll study dinosaurs at university level. He's the man who wrote the movie Jurassic Park. He'll study gorillas and animals at a deep level. Then he wrote the movie Congo. He writes the book and then it becomes a movie. He studied genetics, science, medicine at university level, post-grad. And then he made the series called ER. This guy, he's a genius. I don't know if he's still alive, but he's a genius. I need to pull that up. He knows everything. He studied nanotechnology and wrote a book called Prey. Anyway, so yeah, he was good for me. Did a lot of fiction, non-fiction. Didn't get into the Bible in there, wasn't really into it. Someone tried to pull me into Islam in there. Again, I don't want to moan about it, but it wasn't for me. I went Friday prayers once, went there again, and I was like, nah, man. But it's good for some people, it's just not for me. What else? I've got a list in front of me. Wow, Martin Bowers. Oh shit. Martin and his brothers, they did the Prince Matt robbery. So they robbed the Queen, the Millennium Dome thing ages ago, and I met all them in there. And even though what they did was really high crime, they're the nicest people you're meeting there. Nicest people. Martin was so hard, like he was so cool. They own Peacock's Gym in Bethnal Green, so they're famous. That's where all the big boy boxers go and train. And I should go there actually and say hello. There's a KFC next door to it, I remember. What else? Yeah, Martin was cool. You'd see him jogging on the weekends around the prison yard, but he'd do the full length of the prison yard, perimeter to perimeter. He'd have like 100 odd people behind him. Like everyone wanted to do what, and I love that, man. I love it when people do that. In Pentonville, I saw an old Asian guy, with all these people in rows training with him. And I could see it was Kung Fu, but I didn't really see what it was. I think I spoke to him once or twice, then he got shipped out, he got kicked out of the prison because he's like building an army. Later in life, when I got sent to Blunderston, I see him walking around. I go, whoa, you're Nisar Ahmed. You're the guy, he's like a legend to me. I'm like, what? You're the guy who does all that? He's like, yeah, do you want to train? Of course I want to train. So some of my exercise yard time, like on the weekends I'll open it for a longer period. Some of these times, like 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever, I'll be stood on the yard and the prison's that way in Lowestoft. And this guy would have his eyes closed, he'd be smoking heroin, close his eyes, and we're training Kung Fu, we're training Wing Chun. He gave me Tan Sao, he gave me Bong Sao, he gave me Fuk Sao. And it's not for fighting, it's not to try and say, oh look, I can do this and that. I want the art form. So it was made from I'm even doing it now. The woman who invented it made it from the snake and the crane. She took two animals and built a fighting style around it. So there's like panther style, tiger style, monkey style. There's all these different fighting styles in China that I was unaware of. But Wing Chun uses 100% the snake, the seeking hand, and the crane, which is, it's just, I love the shapes, I love the movement of it. It's peaceful, it's free exercise. So if I just train by myself and I'm doing bits, it's just movement. It's like Tai Chi basically. It's just fluidity, never to hit, more for the beauty of it. So yeah, I trained with Nisar Ahmed for a couple of years, and that was where I really got into Wing Chun, and I really loved it. So it wasn't the worst experience. What else is on here? Michael Carroll. Michael Carroll's a lottery winner. He lives that way. So you go up the Acre Straight, get on the A47. And as you're going along the A47, you've got Swaffham Deer and whatnot. His house is one of them houses on the left. I met him twice in there because he was in and out. And he was quite cool. But he kind of broke down when he spoke to me. He says he wished he never won the lottery. He says he wished he never won that ticket and he was just a binman. He's had people kick off his door over there near Swaffham. He's had people run in his house and kidnapped him for money. He said he's had shotguns in his face. People have gone in that house and stuck it. Like he's not had a good time. People think he's spent all that money. Oh, he wasted all the money. He didn't. There's horrible people out there. There's nasty people out there. And he says he wished he never won. Because look at him. He ended up in jail smoking heroin. Like, and that's a shame. That's a shame. He needed better people around him. Obviously, he wasn't that smart. He needed better people around him to help him. What else have I got on this list? Yeah, so the regressing to get over past pain, Michael Carroll, Wing Chun, Yamaha keyboard we covered, Martin Bowers, Reggie Sell, step aerobics, gym, jogging. Yeah. See, I mentioned Nikki, but I don't want to drag her into, like, what she did was not good. She did some things that were bad. When I got out, I moved in with her. You know, I moved the last of my stuff out of a house in 2023. That's a long time. That's 2006 to 2023. And even like, you shouldn't do that. You're not meant to have criminals living in your house. But anyway, let her be. What else have I got on here? Fights. I'm not a person to be fighting people in there. I'm not a person to be kicking off and, when I see you next, I'm gonna cut you up. I've seen stuff, horrible stuff in there. I see someone get cut up in the shower, and that's not nice. He turned around and he's gone, because someone sliced him. So everything's opened up. I've grabbed my towel and fucking ran. I'm not staying in there. And that was the open showers. So it's like in Pentonville, the showers are open, so it's just open. But in Blunderston, you've got a single cubicle, which is cool. Each floor has 2 cubicles, 2 showers, so everyone gets a chance to shower. Trying to think what else I can cover on it. I'll quickly pause and then I'll see what I just mentioned because I've forgotten it, and then I'll try and continue from there. Right, I'm back and we're going to talk about fights. One situation, some guy was like trying to bully me basically. I'm come back on the wing, I'm going up the stairs, and I'd make jokes with my own people. You know, this is like black people. So I'm like, yo, you see guys, and I'm taking. You can see I'm taking the piss out of it. So I'm just playing with the accent because nobody should be speaking like that anymore. We spoke like that 20, 25 years ago, and the psychologist said when we're like, no, you can't do that to me. No, when you're talking like that, a psychologist said they're speaking English, but with their West African tone, and that got me. That shocked me. I thought, wow, we're speaking with the tone as if we're in West Africa, but we're speaking English. Like we don't even realise we're doing it, but that's what we were doing. The tone, the cadence, the flow of the words is actually Bantu. It's Nigeria, it's Ghana, it's Burkina Faso. It's crazy. Anyway, come into the cell, come onto the wing, C wing. The officers thinks that's where they sit. Turn left, gone up the stairs. Now someone's tried to bully me. Here's what I've done. I'm like, okay, mate. All right, mate. That's that's me. Oh, okay, mate. All right, mate. Gone to my cell. Just walk to my cell. Normal. What these people don't consider is that we're in a prison. Bro, I've got a week to think about you. I've got a week to think about you. So I waited till Sunday. And what happens on Sunday? Sunday roast. He's gone into the cafeteria. They call it the canteen, I think, or the cafeteria, whatever. Got his food, you know, he's got his potatoes, he's got his meat, he's got his veg, he's got his gravy, he's happy. You know, he's got his tray with his food, and you gotta think, you ain't thinking about shit when you're doing that. Got his food, he's walking along, and as he's gone up the stairs, I've just grabbed both ankles. So now, he's smashed his face, his teeth, everything's missing, he's just fucked. He got taken off the wing, like obviously to ambulance, and we never saw him again. And then the people were like, oh, that Nicholas is quiet, but he's mad, you know, he's crazy, you know. But just leave me alone. How about just leave me alone in the first place? Oh, there was another guy who was like a bad boy in jail. He was like popular. His name was Poppin. I won't say his name. And I don't know which part of London he's from, but everyone in jail knew him. He was like somebody. And he kept trying to bully me, some black guy. He kept really trying to say certain things and da-da-da. One day I see him in Bond Street. You've got that. Bond Street is like, they just call it Bond Street, and it links the two sides of the prison together. So like A wing, C wing, and then whatever, and then B, D, F, that's it. A, C, G, I can't remember, man. G and F wing I think were the 4-man dorms, but A, B, C, D were the single cells. Then they had I wing, some advanced wing, some separate wing that they built that was separate. But anyway, I've said to this guy, I've gone up to him. He's walking with one person, and I've just gone up to him because he always kept whispering when he was in a group. So I've gone up to him. I'm like, well, you got a problem? Is there issues? Is there something you want to sort out? And I don't think I even said it with that aggressive face. I was like, is there an issue? Is there a problem? And he think this is a bad boy. His friends now give me dirty looks. His friend's some tall, big guy. But by then, I don't care. The actual person I confronted, I'm not even in the mood right now. Shut up, man. When I went to school, because they've got college courses you can do in there as well. When I'm in there the next day, everyone come up to me like, "Rah, did you do the thingy? Did you do?" And I'm like, "What?" Like I didn't think it was a big thing. That may have gotten me respect, it probably got me hated even more, I don't know. But the guy himself, he fucked off. So, yeah, there was no fight. And I wanted to fight him then, but he didn't want to, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, fighting's not really an issue in there, you don't have to worry about that. If you keep yourself to yourself, you're fine anyway. I think this video's gone on too long. I think I've given you guys like loads of information anyway. Can't really think of anything else to say. Different jails are different. So like Norwich Prison A wing back in the day was horrible. The stairs are really small. It's like an old whiny Victoria thing. They were developing C wing when I was there, but A wing, the wing that I was on, the stairs, you can't even walk down the stairs. You have to squeeze yourself together. So it means only one person can go up and down the stairs. And the corridor, the landings were the same. So if I'm walking along the landing and someone comes towards me, I or they would have to stand in the doorway to let them pass. It's like it was built for elves or midgets or something. God knows what was going on out here when they built it. Or the people out here were just very small at the time when it was made, and then they obviously extended it and done it up. But yeah, I'll be talking for ages. You guys have had some information into what it's like inside the prison, exercise, training, gym, job, work, blah blah blah, fighting, daily life. And yeah, it's not that bad. There was a guy from Turkey I used to fight with as well. Oh, I used to love fighting him, but me and him would just spar just for the sake of it. He was so cool. Me and him would fight all the time, and he was good with his legs. I've never really trained legs. He could do everything. He was doing kicks and spins and shit. But yeah, weird experience. That was the third time I'd been there, and that was the last time. I've not been back since. I was released in February 2006. August 2006 I moved to Lowestoft, and I've basically been out since. There was a period where I did do some bad stuff. I was hanging around with some idiots, and I moved to Norwich. But at one point I was like, it's not for me. I don't want that. So August 2009, I moved back to Lowestoft. Zero crime ever since. Just focusing on the business, focusing on engine tuning, remapping. Now I'm doing other things like selling earbuds. I sell SD cards. Just, if you go on my link tree, there'll be a link in the description. Just click it. And good, I just spat as I was speaking. Go on the link in the description, click it. Apologies for spitting. And yeah, you'll see all the stuff that I sell and what I do, and it does help, it supports. I've even had someone visit today. It's a Sunday. Somebody turned up with an engine ECU, and I've done the programming, done the tuning, he's transferred the money, I've done the bookkeeping, done. But yeah, if anyone wants engine tuning as well, get in touch. Music production, get in touch. Vocal recording, I can do adverts, I can do late voiceovers, I can do all sorts. I can do accents, I can do so more for fun. But I can do a few accents. Nigerian's my most popular accent, people like that one. Indian accent I can do. I don't want to offend anyone, but I can do it, and it's good for adverts. You can do funny voiceovers and stuff like birthday voice recordings and just silly stuff for people, businesses, adverts, Cockney voice, you know, London for selling sneakers or something. I can do advertising and stuff. But yeah, I'll shut up. Thank you for watching the video. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button, give this video a like, please, it will help the channel. I do have music playing in the background in all these videos. It's just my thing, I just want music playing. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you in the next one. I'll try and do some music production next time, and then I maybe want to try another video where I talk about another subject as well. But yeah, thank you for watching, catch you in the next one.